Okay, we're going to start basically of the Nikidas of Hilchas Nikoy and Chumats. I'm not talking about Bedikas Chumats. That's a separate subject. I'm talking about Hilchas Nikoy and Chumats. You know, it's after Purim. We have to start cleaning. You know, if the men would have started cleaning, it will be Erev Pesach. But the ladies already have to start cleaning after Purim or even before. So let's go over a bissel the halachas of what we need to clean, what we don't need to clean. Let me make for a shtick like Doma. In this inyonim is do, we have to know what is an halacha, what is a minik, and what is not even a minik too. Not even a minik too. What do I mean? We know there's a Rosh, which the Rosh has a whole shtickle about gewisse Sachen halacha in cleaning Pesach, and then it says, it finishes, I don't want to elaborate on it, because Yisroel Kedoshim Hi. Yisroel are holy people, and they're doing much more than they need to do. The illusion is that they're rubbing and they're cleaning. So why should I elaborate the things which anyway, you know? So we see at least there's such a thing as Yisroel Kedoshim, that it's more than halacha. But people who do things which doesn't make sense, b'chlal, to have to do, throw everything on the Rosh's back. So Rosh said, so that's why I want to clarify what's the halacha, what we need to do, and what is the minik which goes in the Yisroel Kedoshim, and what is not even a minik. Now why do we have to go give such a shiur? Basically, because a lot of people are putting the emphasis on things which is not necessarily, and things which is necessarily, they forgo. They don't look at it. So therefore, I just want to make a clear cut what you have to do and what you don't have to do, and what goes into the minik. There's a word, the Rebbe asks in the Sefer Mamorim Toshil Amatches, the Rebbe asks, as steht der Chochem Moi Oimer, Mu Eise Chikim Amashputim. So the Rebbe asks, what kind of Chochem do we have that basically, that he asks Mo Oimer, Mu Eise Chikim Amashputim. We're talking about the Chochem as the Torah rief to the Chochem. So what does it mean? Mu Eise Chikim Amashputim? That's a Chochem, he asks such a question. So the Rebbe goes into in previous Anyonam, answers this question. But I thought that another way how to answer it. The Chacham is Takavale is a Talmud Chacham. Takavale because he's a Chacham. He asks, why does Chikim Mishputim? I went through Ches Pesach. I went through the Torah B'Yosef, Alter Rebbe, Mishnah Berurah, Kitzur Shechanorach, Orach HaShulchan. What are you doing? Why does Chikim Mishputim? What are you doing basically? There's no halacha. The answer is, tell him, I'm Ftirach Shmesach B'Koyman, Tazach V'Aminik. Okay, fine. But there's a limit what the minig is and what you don't need to do. So therefore, again, if somebody wants to do more than she needs to do, that's fine. There's no problem. If she wants to push it in his Rukadoshim, that's also fine. But not everybody is capable of doing all these things. First of all, there's a lot of people which basically, women basically, which they're clean, meberes, manekes, choilam. And if you don't know what you need to do, what you don't need to do, they're doing a lot of things which you don't need to do. And they don't do a lot of things what you need to do. So therefore, it has to be a clear nikida what we should do, what we should put emphasis on it, and what not. So the first thing, let's start like this. We know a pitoira, where a person says, I don't want the chumatz anymore, basically, he's not over anymore abal yuru val yimutz. That's why we see mavat la chumatz. And minatoira, if a person said this, is no over of no iser. Chazal say, no, you should make b'dikas chumatz. Why you should make b'dikas chumatz? They have two reasons. One reason is, shema yimtzu gliske yufa. Sometimes you're going to find, in the middle of Pesach, you mamatla everything, is afadara, but you're going around in your house, and you see a nice, beautiful piece of a cake, a nice piece of pretzel, and therefore, you didn't have starch for a while. You pick it up and you're going to eat it. So Chazal say, you have to make b'dikas chumatz because you should make sure there shouldn't be any chumatz at home that you should be able to eat. That's one reason. The other reason is because maybe the bittel means has to be a bittel kafra da'arya. And with the Primogudim says, what does it mean kafra da'arya? That means a person should feel, I wish a goy comes and takes it. And since that's not easy, a person has a Johnny Walker, a yellow, black label, or even a red label, a $35 bottle, and he thinks, I wish I go takes it. I don't know. It's not that. It's not that poshut. So therefore, he's not mavatal with his whole heart. So therefore, it's still over bal yuru bal imutza. So because of this thing, Chazal was mesaken, you have to make bedikes chumetz. Now, if you have to make bedikes chumetz, so therefore, that's why we are cleaning our house, because basically, once upon a time, you had a small house, and basically you didn't do too much cleaning because you had to live over there in that small house or whatever you had. So it came right afternoon before B'dikas Chumetz. Shtat Shechanuch, you have to clean your whole house. You have to matataya you have to vacuum clean or whatever the whole house, sweep it, and then you make B'dikas Chumetz. So basically, there's no. So when I'm talking about why we have to clean the chumetz, that means because Chazal made the Indian that you shouldn't have chumetz in Pesach. Again, so what's the two reasons? One, basically, you're not mavatal chumetz wholeheartedly. Second one, Shem tziyum glis keyufa, maybe you're going to find a nice piece of cake and you're going to eat it in Pesach. So therefore, we are cleaning for Pesach for that reason. Now, what did Chazal aser because of that? Shem tziyum glis keyufa, only a piece of kezayis chumetz. So therefore, when we are looking b'dikas chumetz, what do we need to? Of course, you're going to find breklach. You're going to put it into the bag to burn. But what is mechir mitzadadin to make b'dikas chumetz? It is only a kezayis of chumetz. A kezayis. If it's less than a kezayis, you don't need to make b'dikas chumetz, and therefore you don't need to clean it. But there's one other tanai. There's another reason also. The whole reason is Shema. Again, we said two reasons. One reason is maybe he's not getting mavatal wholeheartedly, so automatically he's over bal yuru bal imutza. But since bal yuru bal imutza, he's only over when he has a full kezayis. If it's less than a kezayis, then you're not over. So therefore, you don't have to make b'dikas chumetz for less than a kezayis. About when you talk about this reason of Shem of bittel, but you have another reason which is said Shem tziyum glifs kiyufa, and maybe you're going to eat it. So therefore, askumas achroinam, that you only have to clean chumetz which is less than a kezayis, a thing which we have a chashash, you might pick it up and eat it, which is a piece of pretzel, a chshivas digger, less than a kezayis, but a chshiv, a pretzel. You find the pretzel on the floor, it's not far-fetched that a person should pick it up. If the house is clean, he should pick it up and eat it. He finds a Cheerios, let's say. He can eat it. So it has to be a thing which a person will take a tiny piece of bread, nobody's going to pick up and eat. Brekelach, crumbs, nobody's going to pick up and eat. A thing which is a little bit larger, and it's a dover chushe b'fnei atzma, a person will eat, and with one tanai, if it's not dirty. If it's dirty, it's filthy, nobody's going to eat it again. So what comes from this? B'dikas chumetz need to be. So when we talk b'dikas chumetz, we talk now nekiyas chumetz also, because it goes together with the same thing. Only for a thing which is a kezayis chumetz, or less than a kezayis, and you might come across it, and you might pick it up, you might eat it. So therefore, to start itemizing these things, once you know this klal, first of all, take away all the grooves and the cracks which is in the parquet, which some Yiddish Chassidish Wablach lie on the floor with toothpicks and toothbrushes, and take out between the cracks or between the tiles if it's not correctly grouted. You don't need to take it out, because such a piece is less than a kezayis. And what else? Nobody's going to pick up this piece and going to pick it up and eat it. So therefore, we have to, this thing has in front of our mind. When we make Pesach, we have to make Pesach to take out anything which is less than a kezayis, which is edible. If it's not edible, me'ikar adin, you don't need to do it. Over here, in such a situation, which is basically you have crumbs around your house, comes the Russian and says, Yisrael Kedoshimi. Why? Because although we don't have a chash that you are going to be over bal yuru bal imutza because it's less than a kezayis, and although you don't have the chash shem yuvel achlo because it is dirty. But if it is a place where it has to do with achila, then you have to make sure even the tiny breklach should also be cleaned up. Why? Because over there, if you're going to take a piece, even a brekl, a crumb, and you can put it to your mouth, chumatz is mamashi. Why do I say it? Because we're going to see some things we will have to be makbid even on breklach. When anything which come across, you get connected with food, anything which is going to be connected with food, you have to make sure it should be clean even from the tiniest thing. But whenever it's not connected to food, it is only like I mentioned before, cracks in the steam, in the radiator, cracks in the floors, or all kind of cracks which might be over there brekelach. Then you don't have to be choishish on bal yerua, bal yemutz. You don't have to be chash of becoming to eat, and you don't have to do it. So the first thing, let's do like this. Let's make it clear. We, Lubavitch Chassidim, have a minhag that we have no problem selling for a goy chumatz, even it's chumatz gumar. Some people in the Chassidish world do not sell chumatz gumar. But other Chassidim, and Besoichem, Rabbi Sainin Nisiaini, used to have no problem to selling a kushera behidedig mechira, which we make today's day most of the Rabbonim, make a behidedig mechira. We have no problem making mechira chumatz. We know the famous the Tzemach Tzedek, when he was in older years, he used to sell a bilka, piece of challah, in order motzi Pesach should have something to eat. He sold it for the goy, and so we see we don't have Rabbi Tzudek with other tzaddikim have no problem selling chumatz gumar, but other chassidim do. So I'm going to concentrate basically on the things we are talking now to Anash. So we are talking now that on the oifim that we are selling chumatz gumar. So therefore, first of all, when you go and get out of the house, anything which you are selling for the goy does not need to be cleaned. Nothing. So, for instance, a person has a Pesach kach, a Pesach kitchen, and the whole chumazige kitchen is basically you're selling it for the goy, kemiven with a halacha that you have to put on, it's a nimkele goy, you have to make a mechitz, whatever how the halacha is, which I'm not going to in now how to do it, or your cabinets. All these things which you are going to sell for a goy does not need to be doing anything. You just make sure it is closed good, and it's written on it, nimkele goy, just in case if the goy decides to come and he wants to take his chometz, you should be able to find it where it is. And it's not a joke. I know a goy came in the middle of Pesach, and knocked on the door, and that young man asks him, "Who are you?" He says, "I bought the chometz from this house, and I would like to take the chometz." He got all excited. This is the guy. Yeah? So if he comes, that he should be able to know what is sold, which is his. Once you sell it, you don't need to make chometz. So again, anything which is sold for the goy, you don't need to make chometz. You don't need to clean it for Pesach. I'm sorry, you don't need to clean it for Pesach. That's number one. So therefore, if you sell the kitchen, as I mentioned before, don't make it. If you don't sell the whole kitchen, yeah, so at least you're going to sell the mixer, anything that has to do with making chalas. So steht schon in Shechanurach, das soll man takke verkaufen, weil dort ist sehr schwer. It should be clean. Which, even though today's day, I wouldn't say that, today's day we have the bash mixes, which we have all kind of chemicals. Even though you don't need to do anything. And not even that, you have a toaster, which might be, in the toaster, might be all kind of chometz. It might be even a kazayis chometz, if you take together all the breklich together. But since we sell it for the goy, we have no problem selling for the goy kazayis chometz, and you don't need to make it at all. So first of all, a third, which people are basically making all kind of ishtadlos and cleaning Pesach, falls away, because people sell their kitchens, at least they're good to sell it. They sell the basements, they sell their attics, they sell all these things. So whenever it is sold for the goy, don't need to do. Again, one of the things which is Chazal say that you have to make b'dikas chumatz, which means cleaning chumatz in our shiur now, is mukim shemachnisim b'chumatz. So any place which you don't put in chumatz all year round, you don't have to make it all. So that takes off the basement, the boiler room. A boiler room, nobody goes in with chumatz. It takes the whole attic. You don't need to sell it even. You know, you have some kind of tissues. People buy boxes with tissues, containers, all those things. They storage in their what is it called, in their attic. And there's usually a person does not go up with food in the attic, and children do not go around. Therefore, you could leave it. You don't have to sell it, and just keep your attic as it is, and that will be fine. Because if you could go up in the middle of the cedar to get some tissues, that's something else. But that's not a thing which is normal. The Shulchan used to be the shamans used to go in to take some kind of wine in the keller, in the basement. So therefore, that he, in the middle of the cedar, was in the middle of eating, and he went down to bring some wine. We don't have this thing usually, so therefore, you don't have to make it, you don't have to sell it either. As I mentioned before, that a chumash which is tiny pieces, and you cannot take it out, again, then it's again, you don't need to do anything. So therefore, as I mentioned before, cracks in the parquet, wherever there's cracks, you don't have to do anything. But, I want to go a step further. If you have chumash, which is basically, you can see it, and it is a kizayis chumash. For instance, you saw under the stove during the year, fell in a piece of pretzel. Under the refrigerator, it fell in a piece of pretzel. Yeah? And you don't have the meaning of pulling out the refrigerator and the freezer and the stove to clean it, because, again, we don't need to schlep it out. Let's start from this. You don't need to schlep out the refrigerator, the freezer, the stove to clean it, because that's a thing which is all year round over there. You only schlep it out to clean it. Don't schlep it out, and there you don't need to do anything. Why? Because even you can be a kazayis chumash, but you cannot get to that. It's in back of the refrigerator. It's in back of the freezer. So if you can't get to it, you don't need to make it. A person has a boir, and a pchal fell inside. He could, if he could reach it, he has to take it out. If he cannot reach it, he does not have to take it out. Why? Because it's all the way down. And since usually he does not go into that hole down with a ladder, so therefore he doesn't need to go down, even in such a case too. So therefore in our case, the same thing. Even it fell in something in back of the freezer, but since it's a thing which you cannot get to there, your child, nobody can get to there only if you schlep out the freezer. Don't schlep it out. You don't need to do it. Clean as much as you could, and that's about it. Same will also go to the halacha Shulchan Aruch, chumash nafel of mapoilas, that if there's 3 tvocham on it, you don't have to clean it. So therefore, a frigidaire, a freezer, stove, you don't schlep out. If you did schlep it out, because some of our ladies' wives, Rushim Tzidkunim, will not abide by Shulchan Aruch, and they will do whatever they like, and you could they want to clean, okay, basic spring clean, and if you schlep it out, then since you schlepped it out within the 30 days, now you have to make it even b'dikas chomatz. Because you have to make b'dikas chomatz. When it's out, you have to make b'dikas chomatz. So therefore, you should do, the best thing will be, because I'm sure, lail b'dikas chomatz, you're not going to schlep out all the appliances. When your wife, if she does it, again, if she listens to you and she doesn't schlep it out, that's fine. Lekitchila. If she doesn't basically want to listen and she wants to schlep it out, then you're going to tell her, very fine, you finished, you cleaned it. Now we're going to wait till at night, and we're going to put on a candle. We're going to make no bracha, because we make a bracha only for b'dikas chomatz, which is lal yidalat, but we could make, and we should make b'dikas chomatz even before. And you boidig the freezer, the place where the freezer is, the flake from the stove is, where the refrigerator is, and then you could push it back, and that's fine.
If you do it before a month?
What?
If you do it before a month.
If you do it before a month, you don't need to do that. If you do it within the 30 yom, you have to do it. The same will go also when you make a refrigerator, which I had today. My wife, one of the refrigerators which I have, she cleaned it out because she wants to start whatever it needs to do. I said, before you put anything in, let me take a candle. I took a candle tonight. I was waiting the refrigerator. It should be clean. It should be empty. It should be everything fine. And now you could pack in things, because you have to understand, a refrigerator, you have to be boidig chumatz, you have to make boidig chumatz lal yidalat. You have a choif. Again, as I'm going to mention a little bit later, if we come to that if you have a bigger house, you don't need to start lal yidalat. You start lal yid gimel, Laliyid Bais, you can start a couple of days earlier, which I do, and a lot of people, because B'dikas Chumetz is a hard work, it's not an easy thing. So you start a couple of days earlier. I think I read once that the Rebbe Shab also started before, a day or two before. You make B'dikas Chumetz before Laliyid Dalet without bracha, and you make sure to leave something for Laliyid Dalet, and you go through the house and you look whatever you need to do, because you want to leave everything for Laliyid Dalet, it will be hard all night.
Can you use a flashlight?
Yes, you could use even flashlight, yeah. A place where you have a problem about fire, you could use a flashlight, yeah. For a car or these things. So therefore, this is what?
Flashlight is long enough for the bracha.
I can hear you.
So the flashlight is only the other night, it's not the night of Lily Dalet.
No, I'm talking if you could do even Laili Dalet, if you're going to a place where you have afraid to put the light, and then automatically you're not going to look good, then you use the flash instead of the light.
You get incandescent bulb, not from the LCDs or the fluorescents.
What is the difference?
Because you make up dollar with incandescent.
No, I'm not talking about the dollar. As long as it shines.
Flashlight, you make machen half dollar.
Yeah, okay.
Incandescent.
Yeah, but then the kid's advorum is, in Shechanurich steht, just to answer your question, in Shechanurich steht that you have to have a light. Or an afka. But, if you may have a light, a skylight, all the places where you're against that window or against the light, that's enough. That's enough. So, we see at least that you have to have, what do we need? We have to have, it has to be also against opposite of the window. So it has to be a light, and it has to be condensed, so to speak. So if you put on the electric in your room, that's not enough, that's not good. But you have a flashlight, which is basically you could point to a specific space, is b'mukem akapunem, wie wir kennen nicht nach Lech, was aufgesagt der Minig is, als wir sollen nach so Bavada, first of all, you cannot make ner mitzvah go out of business. He have his feather and the lech. But nein, ich meine, das ist a joke. Aber bei Eizem, it's a minig is man ist der lech. But wherever you cannot use a ner, you should use a flashlight because you have to be boidig with a ner. That's a part of Chazal. So therefore, before Pesach, once your wife cleaned the refrigerator, whatever it needs to do clean, she wants to push it back, then make b'dikas chumetz. But if she doesn't want to schlep her out, she doesn't need to schlep her out.
So then you're saying that the night you know, I can only just leave one room?
You can only leave one room, and then you make a bracha, and you boidig that. Yes. Yes. Yeah. When it comes to my house, Laili Dalat, I would say a third house is made, even more even. Is a boidig chumetz game. Because I have quite a nice size, and it's exhausted, People today, they go b'dikas chumetz in 15, 20 minutes, which is, the Rebbe Shab says, toyim hen. I think this delusion, the Abraham brings the Rishima, that Rebbe Shab was very against it, because b'dikas chumetz is not a joke. In some achronim, which I don't want to go in now, we have achronim which have limits chis, why we could push it through. Aber mikradin, we know the Chassam Sofer was all night, b'dikas chumetz. What?
Even after Mechiras Chametz?
Mechiras? What does it have to do with Mechiras? No, whatever it's Mechira, you don't do anything. Why do you need to bedika? Yeah. Where do you sell it? That should be mashka. What do I care? It's not mine, it's the guy's.
So you're saying if you clean out all the cabinets, that you go that night, you turn off the light, put a candle, and it's done. You don't got to come back.
You don't need to get it. Yes. If it's in the 30, you do it right. Yeah, you just clean it there.
That's the most.
But you have to make sure to leave a room. Which is for
that's the other way to do it. You're saying,
yeah,
because then you'll check everything.
Otherwise, you go through. That's right. You have to go through, check everything.
And you have to check places that you don't put chametz.
No, a place.
Bathrooms you don't have to check.
If you don't do chametz, but if you have children, there's no such thing as a place where you don't put chametz. We're going to come to that. There's no such a thing. You have children, you have einiklach, no such a thing. No such a thing. Okay, so we are clear at this. Let's start a little bit itemizing things. As I mentioned before, any place where you're not going to find chumash which is clean, so for instance, again, we started one, I didn't finish. So therefore, when you have a place which you can see chumash and you can't get to it, which is on the radiators, which you see it, but you cannot get to that, then basically you don't need to take it out because you can't get to it. People, poskim zuging them, if you want to feel a little bit better, after all, it's really it's a real achila, and maybe it's going to come out, which api halucha darf man sich nicht sorgen. You just put on it bleach, or you put anything which makes it nifgam, so then for sure you're being comfortable. Just getting back to what we said before, that if you see something under the steam or under the refrigerator and you have to schlep it out, so somebody once asked me a very good question. Why don't we have a chash that now, and I don't have, the freezer is on the place and I won't be able to schlep it out. But if my wife's diamond ring will fall into the freezer, I'm going to schlep it out. And maybe it's going to fall in the Pesach. I'm going to schlep it out and I'm going to find hummus. I'm going to eat it. Now the answer is, in Shechanora Shtayt, as I mentioned before, you have a boiler, which in the board fell in a chomutz. So I'm a trich and oise lekach a silam, you don't have to take a ladder, going down, because that's not the way how you use that boiler. Now the question is, if your wife's diamond ring falls into that boiler, you're not going to take a silam? You're going to go down. So why aren't you choishes? Maybe it's going to fall down, and you're going to go in. The answer is, I'm not choishes these things. Chazal made rules and regulations, which is normal, which can happen. So therefore they said, whatever is normal, the way how to use it, you clean. If it's not normal, you don't have to do. So going back, wherever you're going to find chumutz, which you cannot get to it, even if you see it with your own eyes, but you cannot get to it, you don't need to do anything. It's not yad sheludem sholtes boy. Why do I stress it so much? Because I had once a shaila from one of the ladies. She has what is it called? The stove. The stove. She made the whole stove. Everything is fine, but today's day everything is LCD, whatever buttons. But once upon a time there used to be. It's not once upon even 10, 12 years the stoves which people have. You have some kind of stecker, which is how you turn the what is it called, the handles or the clock. Even it's already sophisticated, but the clock it just it should ring in an hour. Yeah, so you slap out some kind of what some knob, and you turn it. So inside, so there's a plastic. So and inside there was a crumbs. There was crumbs of brecklach. You know, children how it goes. Oh, you have a hole. Let's try to put it in. And she tells him, what do I do? I clean the whole stove. I cannot get to that. So I told him, you don't do anything. So I said, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's chametz. I said, yeah, you're right. Could you take it out? If I could take it out, I'm working on it 3 days how to take it out. You can't go. So then don't do anything about it. So but what? I have chametz in my house. I said, so what? So then I told her to take some a little bit economica, bleach and anything which is poigim, pour it in. Okay, she felt good. But again, if you cannot get to it, you cannot get to it and finish. It's mutter. You don't need to do it. Same will go to chairs. Yeah, all the ladies take apart the chairs. Now, chairs has to be made has to be done correctly and properly, because on chairs, in Befrat, we have children. It gets very dirty. All the sides, you have to clean it. But you don't have to dismantle this whole chair, and you don't know how to fix it or to do it. The same will go to the pots. People, ladies dismantle the handles, ladies dismantle all these things. Why? For what? Even if there is a brekele hummus, let's assume there's a brekele hummus. First of all, you're not going to use a hummus pot. So it's only by Yerubal Yemutze. Why are you doing that? What are you doing that? You clean as much as you can, and that's enough. Chairs has to be done good, properly. But you only have to dismantle it, and to people, even the refrigerators, they dismantle, and then you have all kind of problems how to put it back. And, somebody said, I could put back 95% of my refrigerator, but 5% I don't know how to do it,
You have to take pictures while you're doing it.
Okay. But, again, a chair has to be done good. The tables has to be done good. Grooves. I had in my house, once, in Pesach, one of my einiklach took out a small piece of challah under the dining room table in the tracks. There's tracks. How when you put in a leaf. So he comes out, it's Mishvazga van Doing. So says, what is this? He says, I found it over there. So I said, how does it come there? Ich habe es am Morgen like it on the tisch, They punished him to go onto the table. So, so these things has to be done properly. But again, has to be normal, the normal way. So chairs, yes, has to be done good. If you have a upholstery, the dining room chair has a upholstery, and sometimes has a tiny hole, and there's challah breklich inside, and you cannot take it out, then you don't do anything about it. You don't need to tear off the upholstery and after paste it to reupholst it. You don't have to do that. You do as much as you can, and then you are Masider.
So you're soymach that you're selling it? Is that what it is?
No, you don't sell it at all. You don't need to sell it.
Not sell it.
I'm soymach that you cannot get to the Chometz.
But it's you don't own so you don't own it anymore.
It's less than a kezais. I'm soymach on the middle. Yeah.
So explain
So
that.
I'm soymach that I'm soymach. What? Oh, I said beginning that basically, Minatoyre, if a person says, I don't want to have the Chumetz, I don't want to own it, Minatoyre, you're not anymore on your Mutza. Chazal only said, you're afraid, maybe you're going to find something, you're going to eat it. So, as long as you cannot get to that piece, you don't need to do it. You don't have to do anything. In the refrigerator, you have to do it good. Because again, as I mentioned before, anything which comes in contact with food has to be done well. So refrigerator, basically, you have all year round chometz. This has to be cleaned very properly. Again, you don't need to dismantle the refrigerator. But anything which could come in contact with chometz, you have to clean very, very good. Kedai, if you could cover it somehow also, and that will be fine. That's the refrigerator, the freezer also.
So then, if I understand what you're saying, the refrigerator drawers, sometimes stuff gets like inside the inside and you can't really get to it.
If you cannot get to it, even if you take out the
Yeah, because it's like the plastic is doubled over and the food gets inside the double over and you just toothpicks, you can't get at it. Just
do whatever you can and then you're finished.
even if you see it.
Even if you see it. Yeah. Even if you see it.
Where were you a long time ago?
Even if you see it. If you cannot get to it, then you cannot take it out, you cannot take it out.
The fridge is covering the surfaces anyway.
Yeah, in the fridge of you cover it. So therefore, next comes to walls, okay? Now we have a rosh, it's Kedoshim. But what does it mean? You clean you clean the walls. So what does the rosh mean? That basically I have to clean the walls from head to toe and all the ceiling, and I have to clean the chandelier because maybe a child threw something up. There was a bavar for fachosen. What does it mean? Srul Kedoshim means if you have children, or even if you're adult, wherever it comes across the food, that means in the dining room, the dinette, the kitchen, yes, you have to clean the walls, go through the walls, but a place where Chumetz could come across. You don't have to take an 8-foot ladder and go all the way up, and not even the ceiling, you don't have to do anything at it.
Unless your kids climb there.
Unless your kids climb. If you have kids who climb there, you have to make everywhere and anywhere. Anyway.
How are you cleaning walls?
Just take a shmat and go through. Because in a house where there is children, there is chometz, could be chometz on the walls. It could be, no? No, but then every lady is going to do it. But the problem is they're not doing it. They have an 8-foot ladder. And if they have a skylight, you have to have a 60-foot ladder. And they order already from the equipment company which sells this, what is it called? A scaffold. You don't need to do this. Yes, wherever children has the reach, then you have to clean. But not much. That's the Srul Kedoshim. But the chandelier is very good for spring cleaning. Spring cleaning you do Erev Shvius. When the husband lays himself down because he's going to be up at night, then you make all the spring cleaning. You finish with the cheesecakes, you have the flowers, then you make spring cleaning. Erev Pesach, when children, the kids said, well, why I want to stress this, because by some people, Pesach, when they hear the word Pesach, they're going into already to a depression. Children, because they grew up in houses which, when it came to Pesach, there was lachatz, and there was anger, and there was. So you hear the word Pesach, they regret the whole Pesach. Pesach has to be a yonta, which you have to be chagachayres, you have to be sameach, you have to be besimcha. And sometimes we come across our children to kill their the rest of their lives, they're killed for Pesach. That's already, why are people going all the hotels? That's not just because they can afford it, because they have the what is it called, the
PTSD.
The what? They have the drama. They have the drama. The trauma. They have the trauma what they had when they were children. I heard from a lady who says, believe me, once Purim is over, till after Pesach, till Easter, the days are black days. Black days. And she gave me across how Pesach was by her mother. So basically, we have to understand that's not the way how Torah doesn't want us to do it. We have to do what we need to do. And we have to make Pesach should be, there's a word that the Welt sucht, yeah, that brekkelach is nicht kachomets, yeah, crumbs are not chomets, and the husband and children are not korban Pesach. And that we have to have in front of our minds. Okay, let's go next. What else do we need to do? Is one thing is very important, clothing. Clothing is important to do. Why? Because it comes across what food. Because as I mentioned before, all the things of exercise is mitzad bal yiru bal yimutza or the shem yimtze glifka yufka. So anything which is a small piece crumbs and it's dirty, you don't have to do anything about it. But when you have in your pocket, some people all year round watch their pockets put in chomas. That's a very good idea. But a lot of people do not. They have a bilka, they go to a shul, they have a bilka, and they want to, shalashidas, they're afraid there's not going to be enough bilkas. First they grab a bilka, put it in the package, or children are putting it in. So therefore, you get one crumb, Pesach, you take it out, and you put it in your mouth, and that's already. Mashi chumetz. Chumetz is shenosar. But the Rabbunan, Rabbi says usar. So therefore, anything which comes across about food, you have to be makbet. So therefore, clothing has to be clean, and by the way, in Shulchan Aruch Shtayt, you have to be boidik chumetz. So what do you do? What was now the ites is like this. People have today a lot of clothing. Before the rain, after the rain, before the sun, after the sun, in the middle of the sun, in the middle of the rain. So you can imagine what's going on, especially the ladies. So what do you need to do? Make a cheshbon what you need for Pesach, and anything which you don't need for Pesach, put it in a closet, and verkaufes for the goy, and then you don't need to do anything. Sell it, nimke legoy, and you don't need to do it. Whatever you do, basically, you want to use for Pesach, you have to go through and make it for Pesach dik, which the easiest thing by pants will be, take out the pants, and this is how you wash it. So automatically, it will get clean, and even if there's some kind of crumb over there, usually it's outside. I mean, you took out the packet, so and you have detergent, so automatically, is the shoyn shru lachilas kele vochnish with the detergent. So therefore, that's the easiest way, but it has to be done. It has to make sure. The cuffs is a lot of things people can eat, and even if you're makbet not to eat, put in chumetz in your pocket, but the cuffs could fall in. It's I think mashal mechal yom. It falls in a piece, So therefore, make a cheshbon what you need for Pesach, and clean it, and also kedai if it's kedai that you should clean it. Your wife should clean it. I don't know who cleans it. You should clean it outdoors or by a window. So automatically, hast du schon yotzig werden ochet the bedikes chumetz ochet because it's right next to a ribbe. In a ribbe hast du schon yotzig in the bedikes chumetz. So darfst du nicht leil bedikes chumetz go through all the taschen. Chotching is genug steht mit auf der ganze taschen, but it's not in our case which we clean it beforehand and we look for it. B'yom when there's light, or you could do it at night with a candle, but you could do it in the middle of the day. By a door or by a window, so that's yotzei the badikas chumetz ochet, and all the rest of packets sell for a goy, and that's the easiest way how to handle it, because making all the clothing, all the packets is a quite hassle.
Does a man have to do the badikas, these things? Like,
the badikas chumetz does a man do? No. If the packets, the wife can also. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. The what? Yeah, that's very tight in Gemara because they're lazy, but we know exactly who is lazy. So the Paskim suchen schon. It's not Chazal Shulam. The Paskim suchen schon today's day because the Chazal verlassen sehr gut. And then let me make it clear: you could rely on her 100%, and you could rely also on the goyim. I want to comment later, but if you brought her up, even on the goiter, when you give a goiter to clean it, you could rely on it. What does it mean? You could rely. You have to look over because after all, the goyim they are an ki'isa kabda. They're basically here to clean, not necessarily they're here to make chometz. So therefore, you have to look it over, but let the guy to do whatever she needs to do. You look her over, and if it's good, it's good. Some people I know for a fact, ladies, whatever the guy does, she'll do over again. Doesn't make sense. She has the guy could clean it, look her over, to make sure that she took away all the chometz also, and in today's day, the goyim which work all year round with you in a couple of years, they know exactly chometz space, they know exactly what's going on. So basically, you could rely on them. It's very important to know because if not, you're working double. Toys. What's talking about toys? We're going the same thing. Toys about what is it called? Kissim. Toys is a thing which is ulil to have chumatz. Yes, it's ulil to have chumatz. The children play all year round with it. In the middle of the Suda, before the Suda, it's toys have chumatz. So what do you need to do? The best thing we do, and I know today's day a lot of people do it, they sell all their chumatz for a goy. They have 3-4 games or Legos or whatever. It's only dedicated for Pesach. Only that I know a lot by us in the shul. A couple of people, when I said it once by a shir, said most of the people do it also. They buy 2, 3, 4 items of toys, yeah. And because you have to understand one thing, most of Chalamoid, the children will not play with the toys. We know that. They're looking to go around with the tatas. So you have to have, for the 7 days, out of the 8 days, you need to have some kind of 3-4 games, or toys, or Legos, that's dedicated all year round for Pesach, and the rest, clean away. Sell it, put it away, you don't need to clean it, close it up, sell it for the goy, and then you don't need to do it. If you don't want to buy, games for Pesach, then you have to make the chumatz. You have Legos, there's all kind of grooves. Yeah, Legos has grooves, it could be the chumatz. Then you wash it, or in the dishwasher. It's plastic, it could wash in the dishwasher. Some people wash it in the wash machine, or put it into a bucket with bleach and let it stay for a little bit. But it has to be done good, because always you could find pieces of chumatz in the toys. But again, the best thing will be 2-3 toys, the rest you sell, and as I mentioned before, whatever you sell you don't need to do, you don't need to clean, and that's fine.
Maar merkt u, het verrechent niet de light van een room to be as a chsadr? No?
The what? Nein.
No?
Nein. Ein Leiter ist keine Chsadre. Ja.
First night.
Fertig nicht, nein. Sie darf sein Dafke Orayom, Dafke Orayom, es darf sein Dafke Kenegit, nein. Sie darf sein a window, sie darf Kenegit, steiten sich noch ein bisschen wegziehen, es kommt an der Leit, schon nicht. Chsadre ist, was war der Chsadre?
Die ganze Wissen von Chsadre darf nicht kenegit.
Weil Chsadre ist offen zu den Himmel. Chsadre ist... Es ist offen. Aber die ganze Light kommt daran.
So if you have a sunroom, you can do the bigger during the day.
The sunroom?
Yeah, it's all skylights.
Yeah, but when it comes to the corners, that's something else. Steht also vieles to do glass. The Aruba, he brought up a very nice thing. Shichanur steht that if it doesn't have a glass, it has a Aruba, then it's not good. Was steht schon da in der Achroinum, spätige Achroinum, as our glass does not consider, our glass is good glass, and that's considered, even if it has glass, it's still considered a Aruba, and that's fine.
It has to be clear.
Clear glass, yeah. Clear glass, yeah. That's hefty. A window, a regular window.
Tinted or shaded.
Not tinted, not shaded, not grooves, not all these fancy things is no good. If you have a regular glass, that will be fine. Next thing which has to be done good is a high chair. A children's high chair has to be done good, because all year round he eats, or she eats hummus over there, and basically has to be doing well. It's kedai also if you could kasher it, but if it's plastic, you're going to do the machloikas, which we're going to speak Mi'ez Hashem Sunday, Be'ez Hashem Zburach. If it's plastic, it's a machloikas, the Mechas Yitzchak, the Chalkes Yankiv hold that plastic could be kashered. Other people could say that it cannot be kashered, so you're going into machloikas. So you don't need to kasher it then. You cover it, it's kedai, with twice thick silver paper, and that will be fine. Silver paper twice. About Sunday we're going to shmiss why we need twice those. But I can put them, you cover it, or you kasher it again, and you have to which hold that you could kasher it, and you have to kasher it well. It's a clearation, because sometimes you could put it in a heiser piece of chicken, a hot piece of chicken on it, and say, wait, you don't put it in a plate for such children. You put it on the high chair sometimes. And so that's a dovagish. A dovagish is a mamachmer, and the Satan and the clearation, so you have to kasher it with all the looks which you never have kasher. Or you don't need to kasher it and just cover it up. But it has to be done good, because that's constantly around food. Okay, so now we'll get a couple of other things which is kedai to know, is the pantry. Kidneys, we don't need kidneys. But we could leave it at home. You don't need to sell it for the goy. Kidneys does not need to be sold for the goy. So therefore, everything which is 95% of your pantry is not chomatz, it is kidneys. and therefore you don't need to sell it. Kemiven, it's kedai to close it up, just because maybe somebody's going to come, take out something which has kidneys, but medaf is verkaufen. If you have a cocoa, you have a sugar, you have a salt which is opened, and you use it already once, you don't need to throw it out. I know every goiter, Baruch Hashem, is waiting for it should be before Pesach. When she goes home from her shift by the Yiddish house, she goes with all kind of bags which the ladies give for the goiter to take home. Half a sugar, half a salt, cocoa, with whatever it should be. You don't need to give it away for a goy. There's no point. It's over Baltashkas. If it's not your goiter, which is your personal goiter, only you slept one goiter for one day, it's a iser poshel al tzloisechonan to give for any matona for the goy, as you probably all know. The same will go, by the way, if you sit in an airplane and you have a nice discussion with your neighbor, the neighbor in the next seat, which you don't know him, you're not going to know him, but then you decided that the meal mart food, which is on the airplane, is not too tasty. You say for the goy, you look hungry. Yeah, you can take it. So iser goma lo sechonam. You're not allowed to give any matona for a goy which you don't know. If you know them, unless you have something out of it. So if you're goiter, so it's always kedai to be a meshacher. Maybe they're going to steal a little bit less. But if it's not your goiter, it's pashdo iser. But you don't need to do it anything. You don't need to give anything. It's open. No one knows it. You cannot use it. Maybe. But that's about it. Maybe there's some kind of a brekle chometz. Okay, so you don't use it. But why give it away? There's no point. You don't over batashkas.
So it's better to throw it out than to give it.
No, don't throw it out.
No, I'm saying if it's.
It's better not to throw it out and not to give it and keep it in your refrigerator, in your pantry. I'm sorry, put it in your pantry and you lock it up. That you don't need to do it. You don't need to give it away.
It makes more crumbs.
Put it in a box.
When it comes svarim, also a very important thing. Svarim is a thing which again comes in connection with food. Why? Because if people do not wash all year round when they eat, not to look into a sefer, so Friday night, when they do Shabbos tish, they have to give over a vort, so they take out the sefer, and they can eat a piece of challah. So automatically, could be chometz in their svarim. So some people all year round are makbid very on the svarim. That's the best thing to do. Then you don't need to do anything. The what?
I'm makbid not to use svarim all year.
I'm also machmer. Also from this person. At least by the different.
Not to use it.
Oh, not to use it. Okay, but I'm machmer all year round. No food in the vicinity of the svarim. So then you don't need to make it. But people who are not makbid, which is I would say most of the people are not makbid. So therefore, any sefer which they are going to use in Pesach, any Pesach in your Pesach, they should clean very well, and not like when I was a child. They teach us you put like this, you make like this, and it's okay. It's no good because you have all kind of breads, crumbs. I wouldn't say bread, but although somebody told me that he took out a gemara, shas gemara, and he had his grandfather in living by him, and he opened it. There was a piece of cake inside. A piece of cake Pesach. But that's rare. But I can put in crumbs there could be, and when you learn and you're sitting by the table, you could eat and a crumb could fall in, or even not by the table, you could make people turn the table, the what is it called, svarim, by licking their mouth. So therefore, so therefore, what do we need to do? We need to make sure that any sefer which you are going to use in Pesach, you have to clean good. Good means really good. Go through it to make sure there shouldn't be any crumbs. If you don't want to do that, at least it comes to Pesach, do not put any sefer which you didn't go through all the way on a table which was on food, next to food is going to be on food, and before near you eat, and before you're going to eat, make sure to wash your hands if something is stick to your hand, and make sure not to lick your hands when you what? Turning the page. Because over here is takedu emasek chash chumas. So therefore, is the auch gewein Yidden tzaddikim with all the chumas they used to sell, all the swarm they used to sell, and only the books which they wanted to have a Pesach they had to have. Usually they have a Shulchan Aruch, the inyonim was the new when you have a Pesach they used to have Pesach Svarim. Today's is very easy because Oiz V'Huda Baruch Hashem made all this kind of Svarim for every Yalkim Yadam, I don't know what it's called, which has the Gemara, which has Shulchan Aruch and Tor, and Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch and the Mishnah Berurah. All these things very nice. So basically, a lot of it makes you easier, much easier. But let's say if you need Taki, you want a Masechta, which you need to do, that Masechta you should go through good, clean it out, and or purchase one which should be for Pesach, and all other Svarim. The best thing will be just lock it up and don't use it all Pesach. Some poskim are so machmar that much. They said you have to sell all the Svarim. Mamash, you have to sell it for a goy. To sell it for a goy, I don't know. You need to do that, but at least any sefer which you're going to learn on Pesach, if you're not going to learn before Pesach heavily, you should take it out and clean it. And if you don't want to do that, then at least nothing has to do with food, table where you're going to eat, and don't turn the pages with your mouth, then you can get away with it. But a kaponim, as I mentioned before, kisim is a zach which you have to be machmad. That means packets. Toys, you have to be machmad, comes across a lot with food. Svarim comes across a lot with food. And more or less, this is things which has to be good. Other things, some kind of killers do, some kind of killers don't. But this thing, so therefore again, whatever you don't need to do, just put away. And but that's the Svarim. When you're talking about Svarim Shafas, the bookcases, that is already, whenever you have small children or Einiklach, wherever a child could come there and put in stuff over there, you have to clean. Now again, if you have a 9-10-year-old Einikl, it's not going to put away over the chumutz. But if you have a little bit cleaner in the year, they could put chumutz anywhere and everywhere. Everywhere we could find chumutz. So therefore, the bookcases, all the bookcases has to be bedikas chumutz properly. The lower ones, the higher ones, again, it depends. If a person is makbet not to put chumutz around the svarim, you don't have to do it. You don't have to look at it even. But the bookcases has to be chumutz where it's a mukesh mechnei chumutz, because anything where a child could go into their rooms is a mukesh mechnei chumutz, because children put anything everywhere. Again, if you have a closet which is basically in the closet on top, the top shelves, which is a small child, which is a child till 5-6 cannot come to there, you don't have to do it. It's mukesh mechnei chumutz. But what?
For the farm that you're not going to be using, you have to cover it up.
The what?
For the farm that you're not going to use.
Be'ikra din, no. You don't need to cover it up. The Chazanish should machma going to cover it up, and he sold it for a goy, but the chronim do not take it for Allah.
And if you're sure that there was farm that didn't go in there, didn't get any food in them, or they weren't used year round.
Yeah, but it's also not kedai to have any suram in front on the table which you're going to eat or you ate, because you have to make this boundary. Chratcha nicht the sedirim and teilams and chemushim in a shul. What?
You mean during the year?
No, Pesach. Even if you need a sefer, even if you think you never used it. No, if it's new, you never used it. And people know which sefer they never used, and he could say, he said, he might not to learn. So that's. But the person knows it wasn't used, then there's no problem.
Placemat or something?
The what?
You put like a placemat and use the top of that.
You could use it, but then you have to wash out the placement. And if a crumb fell on the table, off the table. The table where you eat, there's any food, should be off limit for svarim. Except if you made it. If you made it, it's something else. Okay, let's, a couple of minutes, go into other things, which is vitamins, medication, and all these things. Now, the first thing is like this. When it comes to medication, now the first thing I want to tell you, if somebody needs to take medication, he needs to take medication, which some people need. People have problems with their heart, diabetes, nerve, whatever it should be. Even if it has chumutz, do not do anything without asking a Rav. Why? Because even if it has chumutz, it's not poshet that you have a problem to use it. It's not poshet. I don't want to go into the whole sigya, but akaponam, a person which has, and even you have a medication which you could substitute with the other medication, which is basically not chomotz. If you want to do it, speak with your doctor. Some people, when they change medications from the same medication but a different brand, makes them a lot of problems, and you don't want to play around with people who have serious conditions about Pesach. It's a schwache iser, even if it has chumutz, but most of the time the chumutz is not the medication. It is only the base. The base is, which in order that the pill should be, it has 10 milliliter has of medication. So how we take it? It's a tiny drop. So they make a base, a dough, and over there they put it so it goes into the all other sigya. It's a whole. There's 3-4 sigyas in Hilchos Pesach, which even if it has chumutz, it's not poshut that you shouldn't do it. But again, a person which is a choyle can take it. So don't do anything about this before you ask her off. But anybody who does not need to take medication and might have a suffix if it's chumutz, he should lock it up and sell it. Finished. Case closed. You sell the medicine's chest, and that's fine. When it comes to vitamins, over there you have to make sure it has to be. By the way, most of the medications are not chumutz. Most, I would say, 95, maybe even higher, are not chumutz at all. Are basically kidneys. But there are some which is chumutz. So again, going back to what I said before, if you don't need it, sell it. If you do need it, discuss it with your doctor and with your roof, and they will tell you if you could change or not. And if he says you shouldn't change, you take it as if it's not Pesach. When it comes to vitamins, over here is already something different. Vitamins is a very nice thing to do. The vitamin companies need to make a lot of money, and they have to pay tuition, they have to pay all those things, so we have to support them. So therefore, we have to buy all kind of vitamins. Now, this is aber nicht essential. It's not essential. If it's essential for medical reasons, that's called trifas. That's called medication. But if it's not essential, so anything which is not good Pesach, you cannot use. You cannot use. So therefore, for this reason, you have these Blumenkrans with the OU, with the Kafke, with all these books which we have in order to look up. It's only for vitamins to know if I could take it, or I need to sell it to the goy. But when it comes to medication, don't even look at the book. Speak to your doctor and to the Rav, and he will tell you what you should do. Forget about that books. When it comes to mouthwash, mishchas shinayim, what is it called? Toothpaste. This, the what? We're going to come to it in a minute. This you have to look up also, it should be kushla Pesach, because this, one of the hatayim, all these things is because it goes through a process, and the chumutz is long bottle. But when it comes to mishchas shenayim, because the government asks and it demands, it has to be food grade. So automatically, if it's food grade, it's made in a way that you should be able to eat it. So therefore, oibsa chumutz, in Kansas, most of them will not have, but all year round, by the way, is also a starke inyan. You should make sure it should have some kind of hechsher, or some kind of leather from the company that doesn't have any, because it might have glycerin, all those things which are not kosher. And it's still nish nifsel achilas kelef, so therefore it's kedai all year round, ochot legabe toothpaste, and mouthwash, to make sure that it has no problem of treifas. But akaponam, this has to be, you should have some kind of hechsher, or look at the books. When it comes to detergent, shoe polish, all these things, you don't need the book again, because anything you can use. Soaps, shampoos, all these things you could use Pesach. It does not have to have any hechsher kushel Pesach soap, kushel Pesach. If you want it for the food, for the dishes, you want to use only kushel Pesach. Okay, that's no. But all other things which has nothing to do with the food, you could use all these things. You could take a shower with any detergent, any soap, any head and shoulders, whatever they have. You don't have to look in the book. You could use it. Everything is nifsel achilas kelef, has no shaykhs mit chumutz. Even if it has chumutz, you don't have to look at the book.
They have a lot of health food brands like oatmeal soaps, they're made with really not so nifsel.
It's not nifsel?
Some of them, they're more hecher, it's not usual. But
okay, then if it's oatmeal which is not nifsel, and then something else. Then was got mich daran in sicher gestia. It's auch nicht so push it, because some achronim say that this is not even sicher gestia, because it's not made to sicher, it's only to take away the schmitz. But okay, I don't know, I didn't know there's such thing as oatmeal with in Shechanur steht das a Sache. Nushim used to take in Shechanur steht das a Sache. They used to take soyben. Soyben means what is it called from the bran, and this is how they used to wash it. Steht in Shechanur, you cannot do it. But if there is such a thing, okay, then he's right. But all these other soaps which you purchase, these shampoos, you could use normal. What is the thing is when it comes to perfume. Perfume are some wants to say that it's basically nicht nifsel, and some say that it's ich weiß nicht, the is perfume. So again, I personally don't see a big problem of the perfume either, but do schon ja gehört auf Sasura, as there are some perfumes which make mamish with alcohol, and alcohol which is not nisl machinas kelef, so then you have to be done, then you should sell it. I'm not sure in this whole thing, because I know the government have a very high tax on alcohol. So therefore, all the manufacturer companies which use alcohol for their production, which is not food, they make sure to put in all kind of toxic things in order it should go out of the law of the category of alcohol which you can drink. So then the taxes are lower. So most of the alcohols basically is non-edible. So it's very hard for me to think.
People still eat it. People still drink
Okay,
it.
if a shikr is a shikr, then people take drugs too.
Yeah, that's so
That's not that. We don't look at that. That doesn't. No, we look at a dog. You don't look at an animal. You look at a caliph. You don't look at Meshugoyim. So.
How about lipstick?
Huh?
Cosmetic.
Cosmetica. This is for this you need a book. For cosmetica you need a book to see which is kosher lapaisa and which is not. Yes. Yeah, but this is lipstick is a thing which also it's edible. It's made to be edible. So therefore, is in dort kemen schnarang an stich geschmiert. That you look the book. So basically, trifas you don't need the book. You ask your doctor in your off. Of vitamins you need the book. Cosmetical which you have, you could look the book. When it comes to detergent, shoe polish, all these things, you don't need the book, and you could use it. Soaps and these things. Just to finish up in another minute. What else you need to do is your garbage cans. Your garbage cans which you have outdoors has to be cleaned. It's yours. People sometimes when it comes Erev Pesach and the garbage didn't come before the Chumas, what do they take? They take the garbage cans and they put it in the middle of the street and land in the town. But the problem is it's your keli, it's your garbage. When you take out the garbage from the garbage can, you throw it on the street. Okay, that's fine for Bal Yurbalim. But you take your garbage can, you put it on the street, nothing is going to help. And Bachlal, you have to make it short, it's clear. It's your rishis and it has to be clean. Now again, if it's dirty, then you don't need to do it. It's dirty. But over here, it's not that much. But in Brooklyn, a lot of houses in front of Borough Park, they have nice boxes, which has a cover, So all inside, when you have a piece of cake or you have pretzels over there, nothing is getting dirty. It's not dirty. So basically, cleaning, you have to make b'dikas chumas. People don't realize. You have to make b'dikas chumas in the gouge enclosures if it's not open to the street and it's nicht als a Platz, wie sie wird schmutzig. So therefore, darf man das gedenken, and some people forget this thing. And the pach zevel, for sure you have to make sure that you should clean. One final thing, tishticher, handticher, tablecloths, steitnische chanorach, saminik, that you have a separate one for Pesach. Although you could clean it, you could wash it, as we do with Pesach towels, but the steitnische chanorach, saminik, as a shilchan on a table, is the minig, that tablecloth that you make, you have some for Pesach. The Teresa Achronim want to say, the Teresa, we have the plastic on top of it, everybody uses disposable tablecloths, you could be Michael. Okay, but that's the minig, but when it comes to handtige table, what is it called, towels and kitchen towels, all those things, you could wash, and meikar adin, you could use it Pesach. I don't think any lady will be asking to use towels, kitchen towels for all year round, for Pesach, but I'm talking, again, we have to talk about what has to do with the halacha, and therefore, that's the halacha. So again, just to sum it up, anything which you sell for a goy, you don't need to make. Anything which you're not going to use on Pesach and it's hard work, just put it into that closet, to that room you're going to sell for the goy, and you don't need to do it. What you need to do is only things which comes across everything other things, yeah? But anything which comes across with food, you have to put special emphasis which has to do with food, and anything which doesn't have to do with food, you have to clean, but a kapunam, nicht also stark, and nicht dismantle pots, and not dismantle machines, not dismantle tables, and not dismantle chairs. You have to clean it and make sure that it's clean. And whenever you don't have any access to it, even a chandelier, which you do have access, but nobody has chumatz on the chandelier, you don't need to do. And that's basically the Nekidus, to sum up in very short, what you need and what you not need to do in Pesach. Yeah.
Does the shul need Vigatalis?
Yes, it does.
Who does it?
The guy who's in charge of the shul.
The Gabbai?
The Gabbai, yeah.